Hello there and welcome to another edition of the FM21 A-League Rundown. As always, we look back at all the results and news stories of the past 7 days here in the Mariners' massive universe. We begin with Adelaide, and the Reds recorded a 2-2 draw away at Wellington Phoenix. It all seemed to happen in the first half as Tom Ahmed's opener was equalled by a Tay Hudson Wihongi own goal. Al Hassan Toure put Adelaide ahead before Hamed grabbed a second, and that meant a share of the spoils with the two sides. Warren Moon continues to cast admiring glances in the direction of Jordan Elsey. Subtlety, it seems, is not his strong suit. In addition to Warren Moon's wanton desires for the Adelaide central defender, Brisbane Roar did pick up a 3-2 victory at Bankwest Stadium against Western Sydney Wanderers. Brisbane goals were scored by Corey Brown, Jay O'Shea and Dylan Wenzel-Halls, all three in the first half, setting quite the task for the Wanderers to get back in the game. It was 2 games and 4 points for Central Coast Mariners, ourselves this week. A late win over Wellington Phoenix thanks to a Matty Simon goal in the 76th minute, before we shared the spoils on YouTube with MacArthur FC. That was back in Gosford and happened just the other day. As you can see, fairly even game, but it was a bit disappointing for us not to take all 3 points, especially with such a superior XG. There you go. Speaking of the Bulls, MacArthur have now gone 6 games without a win, as they lost to Sydney FC away from home before the aforementioned 2-2 draw with ourselves. MacArthur actually went 2 goals up through Saseta and Luke Puyo before De Silva and Matt Simon squared the ledger. Melbourne City achieved a loss and a win in the last week. A 3-2 loss to Newcastle Jets, thanks to a Roy O'Donovan winner in injury time, was followed by a 3-1 triumph over rivals Melbourne Victory. Despite interest from ourselves, Melbourne Victory have signed up Aaron Anderson, a young defender, to a new contract. He's not the only one, because as you can see, Jacob Buttersfield has also penned a new 2-year deal. Victory amassed a 3rd win in succession with victory against Perth Glory before losing that Melbourne derby to the Citizens. Grant Brebner has been very vocal in the media, first accusing Patrick Kidnorbo's Melbourne City of being too aggressive. He was then caught in Perth watching Liam Reddy, so potential goalkeeper there, signing for the Victory. You heard it here first. Newcastle Jets have signed up Roy the Boy for a new 2-year deal, but sad news for Jets fans as the takeover has been rejected. The bid by investor Lucas Hill, a local guy, has been rejected. As a result, the transfer embargo has been lifted. In terms of results, the Jets got their first win in 9 games due to Roy's late goal against Melbourne City. So a big turning point for the club there, as you can see. 3 goals to 2, good game for the neutral, as they all have been in the A-League this season, certainly in real life. Absolutely fantastic. Perth Glory finally got a win, 1-0 versus Sydney FC, so not shying away from the task. They've put a goal past the champions and kept a clean sheet in the process, earning 3 points for the first time at the 12th time of asking in the A-League. Has to be said though, after losing at HBF Park to Melbourne Victory, it was Richard Garcia who was sacked. He became the first managerial casualty of the season. Under the caretaker charge of Frank Farina, it was Chris Economides who got the goal to beat the Sky Blues. As you can see, in terms of the A-League sack race, Patrick Kisnorbo is at evens, Steve Corica 7-2. Interesting shout. I wonder where Carl Robinson is on that list, considering that he's not doing so well with the Wanderers at the minute. Sydney FC enjoyed a home win over MacArthur with Luke Bratton and Trent Bahaja on the score sheet before losing that game to Perth. A second loss of the season for the Sky Blues after 8 games unbeaten. Didn't really go down well for Steve Corica, who very much fancied his chances going into that game against Perth, who were in 12th and are still rooted to the foot of the A-League ladder. Wellington Phoenix started the season like a house on fire, winning 4 of their opening 5 games. They've since only won 2 in 7, with the latest results being a loss to ourselves, 1-0, thanks to that Matty Simon goal, and then a 2-2 draw at Desmond with Adelaide United. Worryingly for Knicks fans, it looks like Tom Ahmed is on the shopping list of a new MLS club, Austin FC. So as you can see, the Israeli international, formerly of Maccabi Haifa and in the UK with the likes of Brighton, seems to be on the shopping list for the Major League Soccer new boys. Interesting, especially considering, of course, that I managed Austin FC here on Football Manager 21 on the beta. Never looked at Tom Ahmed though. Carl Robinson is clinging on to the Western Sydney Wanderers job by his fingertips after a 3-2 loss to Brisbane Roar. The Welshman is said to be insecure in more ways than one. I'm surprised he's lasted this long, to be honest. Bit of a fight back though. Can't say that these boys aren't playing for their manager, Nikolai Muller and Simon Cox, with goals in the second half, but they were already 3 goals down. And that's got to be, for me, one of the reasons why they will sack him in the coming weeks. Just look at their fixtures. Only 2 wins. MacArthur FC and Western United have sort of held off Robinson from being sacked. It's just not good enough for a team that are expected to be at the upper reaches. They now play a resurgent Perth Glory in their next fixture, which I think is a massive game in the A-League now. And then they've got 3 away games in succession: Melbourne Victory, Wellington Phoenix and Newcastle Jets. I do suspect that if those results go badly, they'll have a new boss in place by the time they have these 3 home fixtures, starting with Sydney FC and then Adelaide and Melbourne City. I think that'll be a really good opportunity for a new manager to come in and get his feet under the table. This was the article 7 days ago. Goal declaring that a bad result against Brisbane Roar, which did happen in the forthcoming A-League regular season match, could seal his fate. So it does look like he could be on the bubble. The only thing that I would say is, we'll just have a very quick look at the job security page, is that he's not the only one. You can see that the Perth Glory job is available. If I take away these other nations, does that help? Here we are. You can see the Perth Glory job is there. MacArthur, Ante Milicic, insecure, as is Patrick Kisnorbo, Melbourne City, Grant Brebner at Melbourne Victory, and then Carl Robinson. So it does seem like a few of the coaches are on the bubble, possibly some movement. And what you're most likely to see is that they'll take each other's jobs. That would be sort of the normal course of action, really. Our last side to have a look at is Western United. Now they are set to lose Tomoki Imai to Sapporo Mythos. who I believe are a Japanese club. He'll be transferred in August when the transfer window rolls around there. Now, there's just one game played by Mark Rudan's side in the last week, and that was a 1-1 draw with Adelaide United, as strikers Bessart Berisha and Tommy Hurich got the goals. Who else, really, for the two sides? Ivan Vucic could be on his way out of the club on loan. It appears like he's not getting first team football and therefore could just go on a short-term stint with Mark Rudan considering the idea. The A-League table, not much has changed this week, I don't think. The Mariners, ourselves, we remain at the top with a 5-point cushion now to Wellington Phoenix and a game in hand. However, Sydney FC have a game in hand on ourselves. They're back there on 20 points, and having lost that game against Perth, they had a real opportunity. If they'd have beaten the Glory, that would have left them on 23 points with a game in hand on us, and that would have given them the opportunity to get level at the top of the league. So, bit of a misstep there for Steve Corica and his side. Adelaide United, Western United and Brisbane Roar are the three other teams inside the top six. Melbourne Victory, Macarthur just outside. Down at the bottom, still Perth Glory, but they do have that one win to their name now, coming against Sydney FC. Western Sydney Wanderers need to start picking up points. Only 9 points so far. I think the Mariners, we're on 26. That's quite a big deficit now. The fixtures upcoming over the next week. So it is ourselves, I believe, that is in action first. So the last games there played. There you have it. The draw with Macarthur and then Perth's game against Sydney. So we've got ourselves against the Brisbane Roar. I think that's a fairly winnable fixture, to be honest. Melbourne City take on Sydney FC. So City Blue against Sky Blue. Then you've got an original rivalry clash. Adelaide United host at Cooper Stadium, Melbourne Victory. The Wanderers against Perth. Another big game at the foot of the table. 11th versus 12th. A win for Perth would put them within a point of Wanderers. Considering how shocking they've been, that is quite a surprise. Then you get teams playing again, so City and Brisbane, Newcastle Jets and Wellington Phoenix. The weekend ends with ourselves away at Sydney FC and Macarthur FC hosting Western United, a battle of the two most recent sides to be added into the A-League. So the Brisbane Roar game will be played off camera, and this one against Sydney FC will be broadcast on Thursday. So do look forward to that. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you again.